Jake, it's interesting to hear that because this is actually one of my questions I had coming up was it's fascinating to hear that you saw this guy and you're like, hey, let's make this guy my tag team partner.
Damn straight.
Because as a reminder, you are fresh off this thing with the snowman and the confrontation
Yeah,
with Muhammad Ali. So
yeah,
you're one of the hottest heels that the company has to offer besides like DiBiase, Skandar Akbar.
right.
And now you're placed in a tag team with this guy who's green as grass.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
you didn't view that as a burden?
It was a bit of a burden. I mean, yeah, but I knew I had to be doing something. And why not take this guy who has that look?
Hmm.
And if I can just manage him a little bit, we'll be really good. And it turned out to be really good because we wound up going against DiBiase and Dr. Death.
Yes, this very month, and that's part of what we're going to talk about. We've got some amazing clips. I can't wait to show you.
Do we
Um,
have any clips of us with Rock and Roll Express?
you don't. So that was back in April of
Okay.
this year. But we will cover that at some point because it's out there. And man, I know that you've got some stories about that
Oh
shit.
my God. They paid me off to not let him in the ring.
Well, some of these guys that you're going to be facing in these clips,
They were
I bet
begging me.
I'm thinking some of these guys were wishing that they had thought to pay you off because
Yeah.
holy smokes. We'll get there. As you mentioned, just an incredible athlete for a guy of his size. But traditionally we hear that guys that are really large like him, they were supposed to work like big men. Don't leave your feet. Let smaller
Yeah.
guys work around you. Forget about coming off the middle rope.
Yeah.
John was kind of breaking the mold here with his leg drops from the ropes and giant
Oh,
like
he would do
leaping maneuvers.
anything, man. He would do the Randy Savage elbow thing off the top too, you know.
Right. I mean, just like watching some of these clips, it's like this guy's a freak. But are you trying to slow him down and get him to work more like a big man, or are you letting him do his athletic thing?
I'm letting him do his thing, man.
Well, yeah, you don't want to stop a guy with that kind of look and that talent,
No,
and man,
no.
it proved out. Before we do roll on any further, I do have to mention, he does have a little bit of a reputation for being a little bit wild.
A
And I'm
little bit
wondering,
wild.
I wonder if you've got any stories about him.
Oh God, yeah. I remember one night. It was I wasn't there, but I seen what happened afterwards. It was John Nord, Hercules Hernandez, Boo Thomas,
All right.
and I can't remember who else was in the car, but it doesn't matter because they weren't involved in it. But they were riding down the road and they were talking, and they started talking to Boo how come he was so good, not ever being knocked out in tough man contest. And Boo started bragging that he couldn't be knocked out. And Hercules Hernandez says, I bet I can knock your ass out. And Boo says, well, go ahead and try. And they're riding down the road. So Hercules turns around in the front seat and just hit him as hard as he could. And didn't knock him out.
Wow.
And Boo started goading him, See, I told you couldn't knock me out, big white boy.
Oh my goodness.
Hey, big white boy, you can't knock me out. You're bigger than I am, and you can't knock me out. How come is that? You're not as good as you think you are you? So that's when Hernandez told him to pull the car over. He got out and he tried 3 more times to knock him out and could not knock him out, but Hercules did break his hand.
My God.
So he broke his hand. Boo's still talking shit. Blood's going everywhere. All inside of John Nord's Lincoln.
Oh boy.
Yeah, blood's going everywhere.
Oh boy.
And it was 200 miles of them talking shit to each other and Hercules trying to knock him out.
Now, John, I gotta imagine he's got some kind of reaction to blood all over his Lincoln.
What the fuck's going on, man? He couldn't believe what was going on, man.
Oh man.
And John was a partier, man, so he was a lot of heavy alcohol, man, being pushed down his gullet. And that was John's demon, man, and he still fights it today. And he doesn't always win, but he's real honest about it and forthcoming, and I love him to death. I talk to him every now and then.
Oh, do you?
And yeah, I do. And He's just still a sweetheart of a guy, you know, a real sweetheart of a guy.
Well, I know he thinks really highly of you. I'd love to get him on the show here at some point so we can chit
Yeah,
chat with him.
we should do that.
I would love that. Such a cool guy. And yeah, to your point, if it weren't for some of his outside the ring activities, man, just a guy with unlimited potential.
Unlimited, man. That's, yeah, above and beyond.
Well, as I mentioned, you've got a lot of momentum coming into this pairing. I know that working a tag team means that you kind of get breaks during the match. You don't have to take as many bumps. So there's a
Right.
lot of positives with it. But do you feel like it stifled your momentum as a heel at all?
Sure did.
Yeah.
Sure it did.
But
It turned me babyface.
yes, it does.